Hello, I'm Dr. Greg Allen, and I'm the director of Freedom4U. Welcome to our teen educational video series. On this video, you'll hear from some of our leadership teens as they talk about different life issues and give their personal advice. I hope you enjoy it.
I think it's a lot of the time really difficult for people to see their own privilege because everyone has their own struggles in life. Everyone is going through hard times at some point, and they may not see that their hard times might be on a different scale than others, which obviously everyone's feelings are valid and you shouldn't discount your own feelings based on the fact that there are a lot of people that have it worse off than you. But being aware of that is also really important. And also, especially growing up somewhere like the South Bay, where we're on the California coast, we are in a very much accepting community for the most part, and we're not somewhere where racism and oppression of certain groups is extremely prevalent, although it is definitely still here, just on a lot of a smaller scale, and it's not the majority. But I think it's definitely hard to fully grasp the magnitude of the problem when it's not right there in front of your face every single day, which is changing, I think, especially in this time with social media. We as a generation are becoming a lot more aware of the social issues and the racial issues and all of the injustices that we face as that we are fighting as a nation and a world. So I think that one thing that we all can do is realize that we have a voice and realize that social media is an extremely powerful platform to get information out there and really talk about these issues. Obviously, social media isn't the only vector for change and learning. I think that there are so many amazing resources through books and documentaries, and there are lists and lists which can also be found on social media. But I do think social media is playing a huge role in keeping the conversation going and talking about it, and I think that teens can really be active with their views online and really fight for what they believe in by spreading information that is important on social media.
Sometimes it may be difficult to see one's own privilege because this is what you are accustomed to and you have no frame of reference. Sometimes it may be hard to view things from a different perspective.
I think a lot of people live in their own bubble, if that makes sense, and they're not seeing the different views and different experiences, even if it's not their own. I mean, you'll never fully understand what somebody else goes through, but just having an idea and thinking about it and educating yourself on it, that will be able to open your horizons and opening your eyes to so many different things and seeing past and realizing what privilege we have, or they have.
I feel like it's difficult to see oppression that other groups experience, maybe just because it's not happening to you and you're not exactly looking for it. Like, you're not going to be looking for someone else being oppressed if it's not even happening around you. And if it is happening around you, then it might be easier to see.
It's difficult to see the oppression that other groups are facing because that person hasn't felt that oppression. So a white person doesn't know what it's like to get pulled over as a black person, if that makes sense. It's hard to understand something if you haven't gone through it, but it doesn't mean that you can't support it and you can't be there for them and support them.
I feel like the most important part is to comfort them and make sure that they're okay. Because not always in those situations can you actually confront the person who's doing it, because it might be unsafe, or you don't want to feel like you're speaking for them. So I feel like the number one thing to do is always to comfort them and make sure they're okay. And then if you can, try to talk to maybe a parent about it, or talk to a superior or a guardian, and try to figure out if there's something you could do about it, or try to stay away from the person that does that.
When you see someone or a group of people being mistreated, you should always try to help, whether it is interfering right away or just telling a trusted adult. Some might not feel like they can really interfere in a situation, so talking to an adult is a really good alternative. But like I said, there are others that prefer to help right away and step in and just try to help in the best way they can.
One, I think it's very important at a very young age that everyone learns about what's going on in the world, especially during these times. It's so important to be educated and to stand up for what's right. So I think that a simple way of bringing up this conversation is through educating by giving them books to read, or even there's so many things on like Netflix or on TV about what's going on to help educate them if they're not comfortable giving the conversation themselves.
I think parents could bring up these conversations by leading by example. For example, when parents see someone and a kid's first reaction is that person's different, the parent could really tell them like that person isn't different. They just look different, but that doesn't mean that they should be treated different.
For parents talking about these issues and teaching kids about racism, I think that a lot of the teaching is happening through social pressure and through social media. I know that a lot of my friends are posting about it constantly, about the issues that we're facing right now in the world, and I really feel like the conversation is being kept going by my generation, which is really amazing. So I think that parents should let the kids bring it up. My 8th grade brother at the time, he's now going into high school, but he brought up a conversation about the racial injustices in this country, and I was not even aware that he had that deep of an understanding and passion about it. He had really been paying attention, and I think that that's a lot of parents' problems too. They don't see that their kids are really listening and really wanting to learn. So I think it'd be really beneficial not to bring it up. Maybe have the kids bring it up and have the conversation be sparked in that way, and let them talk about what they're feeling and how they feel that they can help, and then continue the conversation from there and give your advice and what you feel about the situation. But yeah, I think it's a really powerful way to kind of change the conversation, have the kids start it and see what they feel.
In my experience, the best way for a parent to teach their child about these issues is to be straightforward. Sugarcoating these situations will not be beneficial in the long run because one will experience an encounter with racism one way or another. Parents should educate their children bluntly so as to prepare them for the future.